Transness has only been around for 29 years. Okay, baby boy, let's play. The US's earliest known trans advocacy group was in 1895, nearly 130 years ago. It was called the Circle of Hermaphroditos. Now, 130 years still isn't very long into human history, but it sure as hell trumps your 29 years. So let's go back a little further and leave the US. In Italy, in the early 1800s, we see the appearance of the word femminillo. A femminillo described a person who was assigned male at birth, who lived their life out as a woman and got married to men as a woman. But why don't we take it 400 years earlier than that? In the 1400s in Albania, we get the word bernesho, which describes someone who was assigned female at birth and wore male clothing and was a masculine person for the rest of their life. Let's go back 400 years earlier than that, to the 1200s. In Egypt, a group of people known as the Mamluk would recognize female porn people with masculine traits and then dress them up as sons for the rest of their lives, and they would be treated as men with male privileges and have wives. But let's go back 1600 years earlier than that, in 400 BCE! In ancient Greece, there were people who lived androgynously as prophets and healers, and they were called the Enrei people. But let's go back even earlier than that, to as early as 7000 BCE. Dating back to the oldest ancient history we have, we see depictions of people who either contain characteristics of both sexes or neither. And pretty much every region of the world with native peoples has a word for it in their culture. Dating back so far, we don't even know where it started. In indigenous Siberia, we get the word chuchi, which means trans or genderqueer. Mexico, with the early Zapotec and Oaxacan people, we get the muxe. We're called the Bakla and the Tagalog people of the Philippines. They're commonly called the sister girls and brother boys of Aboriginal Australia. There's quite literally hundreds of different names across Native American tribes. We now put that under the blanket term two-spirited, but of course respect anyone who identifies as something closer to their tribe. In South Asia, they were called the Hijra. And now you may be thinking, well, that's only a couple of peoples across world history. No, it's freaking not! Because I only have so much time here, I chose random dates from history, but there are so many groups of people with so many names for genderqueer, trans, even drag queens, non-binary, everything. They've been here the whole entire time! Here's the other thing, they never go away. They just go into hiding when someone threatens to hurt them. And that's what's happening before our very eyes in the US, and that's what we need to be stopping. Because the history of genderqueerness is the history of humanity itself. Anyone trans watching this, please remember that in the earliest history, you would have been celebrated. You would have been considered a shaman, a religious leader. People would have looked up to you because you understood both sexes. So your ancestors are looking down on you and going, "Go, little rock star." So yeah, kid, I have done my research. Have you?